Welcome to Chalk Talk, Danville Public Schools Weekly News Magazine. I'm Diane Locker, your host. This week we're at George Washington High School for the annual inspection of the NJROTC. And I have two people here with me that are going to be able to tell you exactly what's going to happen today. I'm going to start off with Commander Frank Hitt, who is the commander of our unit here at George Washington High School. And Commander Hitt, annual inspection. I had the opportunity a little bit earlier to talk to some of the cadets, and they're telling me how they got ready for today, what's going to be going on. Give me a little background.
Okay. It goes beyond just getting the uniform ready for the inspection. It becomes a leadership job for my staff cadets to actually prepare everybody and to prepare not only the individual cadets, but our cadet leadership, our platoon commanders.
I think what was so impressive to me when I've been walking around, just randomly selecting a cadet and talking to the cadet, is when I ask them, why are you involved in this program? Invariably, I get the same type of answer and what they've learned about leadership. And I think that, to me, is very impressive and very important for the community to understand what this unit is all about.
Yes, that's primarily why the unit even exists to begin with, is to develop citizenship skills and leadership skills in these students.
At an annual inspection, it's not just us here at with this unit saying we've done it right, or we've done this, or we've done that. We bring someone in from the outside to look at it. Now, I would like for you to introduce who's going to be looking at this today.
We have with us today Commander Eric Kaiser. He's the executive officer of the Navy ROTC unit up in University of Virginia.
Commander Kaiser, is that the correct way to address you?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me now, you're here today. You came from the University of Virginia. How often do you do this? Do you do this at other schools, or is this your maybe first time doing this?
This is my first time doing this. I've only been at UVA for approximately 1 year now. So this is my first opportunity to see the youth of our nation.
Now, probably, I'm for sure, you're a military background.
Yes, ma'am. I've been in the Navy for about 19 years now. My father was in the Navy, my grandfather was in the Navy, so it's pretty much a tradition in our family.
Getting ready to say, it's not only in the military, it's your history.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me what you're looking for today. When you go around, I know what's going to happen. You're going to go to each one of these platoons, and you're going to speak with the cadets. What are you looking for? What are you going to be asking them?
I'm going to be looking at their uniforms, looking at their haircuts, just making sure that they understand that they are in a kind of a military function here, and that they uphold the standards that we do in the Navy or the military writ large. And asking them just a general question, just kind of see what they know and see where they're going in with their life, because that's the really important part.
I'm glad you said that, because every single cadet that I talked to today, I always ask them one thing. Why did you get involved in NJROTC, and what are you going to do when you get out of school? And you'd be surprised how many of them are going in the Navy.
Yes, and this is a great opportunity to get exposed to that. And then, they can sample it a little bit and decide, when they graduate, are they going to join the military, or are they going to, pursue a civilian career?
Well, they're a very impressive group. I could tell you right now, you don't even need to talk to them. They're perfect. They always are, and they always will be. I want to thank you for coming here and doing this today, and I'm going to let you get started and quit holding up everything.
Thank you.
Thank you. Master Chief Cobb, now you're new here at GW, aren't you?
Yes, ma'am. I started the 1st of March.
And tell me a little bit about your background. I know you got this uniform on. You must have a military background.
I spent 20 years and some change in the Navy, primarily in the Tidewater, Virginia area. After I retired, I've taught junior ROTC at 2 other high schools for a total of 14 years.
You've got a lot of experience in working with these kids. Now, tell me a little bit about what is going to happen today. Now, this is your annual inspection.
Yes, ma'am.
What does that mean?
The cadets are going to, first of all, be inspected by Commander Kaiser, who is the inspecting officer. Each cadet must prepare their uniform specifically for this inspection. They'll also have an opportunity at the end to do what's called a pass and review, which is a marching salute to the inspecting officer, as well as our drill teams will have an opportunity to showcase themselves with a little exhibition.
Now, I'm looking around the room here. I believe, now I'm going to go back on my non-military background here, but we've been here before and for inspections. Now, each of these groups is a platoon. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
How many platoons do we have here at GW?
We have 5 platoons, and then our staff platoon makes 6.
Now, each one of these platoons, do they have some type of commanding, like the drill master?
Yes, each platoon has a platoon commander and an assistant platoon commander that's assigned their senior cadets. For example, my classes are all 9th grade. I have sophomores and juniors that are platoon commanders and assistants. And there's also squad leaders in each platoon that head up each squad. They're also responsible.
You also have one gentleman that takes care of all of it.
Yes, ma'am. The unit commander, our commanding officer, is responsible for the entire unit.
Well, I want to welcome you to George Washington, welcome you to NJROTC.
Well, thank you.
Let's get started back here.
Yes, ma'am.
Hut. Okay, we are now about 10 minutes out. When I put you at ease, go ahead and take just a few minutes to look each other over. Make sure you got your cover on right. Make sure your gig lines are straight. If you're missing an item, I can't help you at this point in time. Okay, I want to commend you guys. Most of you were here on time. We are only missing 7 cadets this morning. So good on you. This is your show, ladies and gentlemen. Don't look at this as anything but this is your time to shine. All right, for pass and review. Remember, only the 2nd and the 1st squads look to the right. He's going to be standing right over there on that X. Squad, when you do your open rank squad leaders, they should come out to that line. Do your pivots on the corners. You're going to have to be sooner over here, remember. Call your column left sooner on that back corner. Does anybody have a question? Company. At ease.
Now, Thomas, you are the unit commander. Is that what I say? Did I say that correctly? That means out of all these platoons out here and all these platoon commanders,
yes, ma'am,
and the different people, that you are over all of them?
Yes, ma'am. I'm in charge, and I make sure they do what they need to do.
I was going to ask you, what is it that you do? Now, I see you here today kind of walking around, making sure, I guess, that everybody's doing what they need to do to get ready for inspection.
Yes, ma'am. And I'm really over everybody, but I have people under me that are there to make sure that the people below them do what they need to do. Like my chief of staff over here, he's making sure that all of the staff members are doing what they need to do. And then a certain staff member, the senior platoon commander, is making sure that all the platoon commanders do what they need to do to get ready for this AMI.
It sounds like the structure is the very same as it would be in the military.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You've been in ROTC how many years?
This will be my 4th year.
Are you a senior?
Yes, ma'am.
What happens after your senior year?
Next year I'll be going to Old Dominion University, and I'll be in the NROTC over there, and after that I plan on going into the Navy.
So you're strictly military all the way?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, let me ask you something. When you were a freshman and you got into ROTC, was that your plan? Did you know it right then?
Yes, ma'am. I wanted to go into ROTC my freshman year. And everybody that I knew, some people have been in ROTC, and they really liked it, so I wanted to join in too.
If you had to pick 1 or 2 things out of the 4 years that you've been in here at GW and NJROTC, what do you think is the most important thing you've learned?
Most important thing I've learned is probably leadership. Going from my NS1 year, my freshman year, to senior year, I've been through many camps, and Leadership Academy was one of those, and many other various events that helped me grow as a leader.
I think what's really important for the community to understand when we talk about NJROTC, and we bring this out every year, and you brought it out without me even asking, and that's the aspect of leadership. It's not the military part of it, it's the leadership part that's so important.
Yes, ma'am.
You pointed to this on your shoulder, and I've been watching people. Some people have a gold one, some people have a silver one, some people have one that's like multicolors. What do they mean?
This one particularly means that Leadership Academy. Only 4 people out of every year can go. My year only 2 went, and you have to graduate that academy and you get the cord. That's the only cord you can wear on your right side. Everybody else, they're wearing theirs on their left side, and it has to go with rifle team, drill team. So you see most of the people on drill team have their drill team cord on their left side, and orienteering team and various other teams that we have.
Now, my experience in past inspections is that this type of stuff that you're talking about right there turns out to be very important today, because when the gentleman comes from the University of Virginia and he's looking, isn't he also looking to see what's happening on the uniforms? Are the uniforms correctly, let's say, dressed?
Yes, ma'am. When the inspector comes, he inspects us on not only our uniforms, making sure that the alignment's right and all the measurements are correct, but also that our knowledge about what we have to learn about the chain of command and the orders to the sentry.
Once again, you answered a question, said something that I was going to ask you. What are the types of questions that he asked? I can understand how he could ask about the uniform. What is it that he's looking to see, have you learned in NJROTC?
He can ask various questions, just basic knowledge about the Navy, and also he can ask the chain of command, like I said, like who's the president, the Honorable Barack H. Obama, and various other questions going down the chain of command. He can also ask, who am I? You know, he can ask me as the inspector talking, who am I, and they can say Commander Kaiser. Just putting them under pressure just to see what they do.
How do you prepare for today? Is this something you've been doing all year? What's the main thing you do to prepare for today?
We have various days after school, and we've been working on this for about 3 months now. It makes sure all of our paperwork is correct, making sure we have all of the paperwork for every cadet in this room, and making sure that all of us know what we need to do today to make sure it runs all smoothly.
Okay. Thanks for talking to me. You're a very impressive young man, and I wish you all the luck in the future.
Thank you.
Raekwon, what's your grade level?
11th grade.
11th grade?
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you been in ROTC?
This is my 3rd year.
Your 3rd year.
Yes, ma'am.
Why'd you get involved?
I like the drill.
You like the drill. Now, we've been watching you out here work with this group here practicing. And what is it? You're the drill
team commander.
Drill team commander. So you're the commander of this group that we've been watching doing this kind of precision marching and everything.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, how long have you been drill team commander?
I joined my 10th grade year, so this is my 2nd year.
The 2nd year. Now, what's going to happen today? Why are you practicing so hard? What happens?
Because we have to do like a trick exhibition with like spinning the rifles and stuff. So that's what we got to practice for, so we won't mess up or nothing.
So this is the group that kind of like tosses rifles and does things like that to each other. Is that what is that what's going to happen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I know you're practicing and you need to get back to practicing, but you're very impressive out there. So I'm going to let you go back.
Thank you.
Thanks for talking to me.
Yes, sir.
What's happening out here on the floor right now?
This is the unarmed drill team. They are unarmed, so they do not have rifles, so it's pretty much they do whatever they want to. This is also a performance that will happen during the AMI.
Is that military, or is that what we would call freestyle?
It's more like freestyle. Unarmed is more free. They can do whatever the commander thinks of. As you can see, they can talk. They can do just about anything they want. There's no really set rules on the trick, what we call exhibition or trick.
Now, you said the commander. Who's the commander? Is those four the whole?
No, ma'am. The second one from the left is the commander, Cajal Fisher, right there. He's usually the one talking and giving all the commands during this event right here.
So it's actually freestyle, but it's freestyle with a military
Correct.
hint.
Right, yes, ma'am. As you can see, they're doing flanks, and they're saluting a whole bunch and everything, and they're very loud and they're very energetic and everything.
Is this part of every ROTC unit, or is this something we do special here at GW?
This is basic trick. Every drill meet in Area 5 does a unarmed event, an armed event, and both of those are both trick, which you saw earlier. So every unit does this.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We're going to take a short break right now. Be sure to come back after the break, because you're going to see more of how we prepare for an annual inspection here at GW in the NJROTC.
Having devices in my classroom helps foster an engaging atmosphere for my students. They're having to Get a topic, research the topic, and then create an assignment using that topic. The students are more engaged on the devices because they're having to work in a collaborative group. They're having to research a topic and then create something for that assignment. Danville Public Schools wants our students to be on the cutting edge of technology as we prepare our students for an ever-changing economy.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we're at GW High School for the NJROT annual inspection. What we did in the first half of the show is got out here and talked to some of these students about NJROTC, why they joined, and what they plan to do in the future. What we're going to do in the second half of the show is keep talking to them, see what they're doing, get some of the action that's going to go on here at the annual inspection. Rabin, I have just been talking to Master Chief Cobb, and he was telling me that we have platoons, and each platoon has a commander. Now, are you the commander of the platoon that's standing behind us?
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you been in NJROTC?
This is my second year in NJROTC.
How come you got involved?
I got involved because I wanted something to do in high school, and I thought that doing rifles would be my thing, but the rifles are actually very heavy, and I have just succeeded very well in ROTC. I do orienteering, I do academics. If you can do an ROTC, I've more than likely done it.
I would say then that you said you got involved, but you've been really involved if you're a platoon commander now.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, as a platoon commander, what do you do? I've seen you walking back and forth in front of them. We're all getting ready for inspection today. What is it that you're doing?
I lead the platoons. I make sure they're doing what they're supposed to do. I also help teach them different types of drill. I help teach academics. I just basically assist the actual teachers. Master Chief is the actual teacher, and Commander Hit are the actual instructors, but we help with the job, and we basically run the class.
Now, when you thought about getting into ROTC, did you think about a military career, or was it something else that drew you to ROTC?
I thought about a military career. Most of my family members have been in the military, and they have been very successful. They didn't necessarily enjoy it, but they did learn a big lesson from it, and I wanted to do something like that.
Now, do you want to, after you get out of school, do you want to go into the military?
I want to go to college first.
Good idea. Then out of college, you go in as an officer. Now, what grade are you in now?
I'm in 10th grade.
In 10th grade. Have you thought about what you want to study when you go to school?
Medicine.
Medicine. Good for you.
Yes.
Thanks for talking to me. And good luck today.
Thank you.
Is this an example of more freestyle out here? What are these four doing out here?
That's still the unarmed an exhibition right there.
Unarmed exhibition.
Yes,
earlier when we were talking, you said that they were kind of doing their freestyle thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and they're just practicing.
Yes, ma'am. This is just practice right now. Their actual routine will be performed after the inspection.
When the two girls first walked out there, I thought they maybe were trying to send a message to other people, but that's not it. They're just doing their thing out there.
Yes, ma'am. They can do just about anything they want. This is just open, free range. They can just do anything.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dustin, I've talked to you in years past when I've been here for these inspection, annual inspections.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, how long have you been in ROTC?
4 years, ma'am.
4 years.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I watched you out here, and you're really far beyond when we first started talking. How did you get involved in NJROTC?
Well, it started back in 9th grade. I wanted to give myself more confidence. I wanted to do more, wanted to get better. So I felt like ROTC would be that program. So I decided to join up, take a risk, and it turned out to be something I never imagined before. It was a great experience. I love it, and I can't wait to join the military.
Yeah, but you know something? I can see that confidence. I can see that growth in you from when we first talked several times. I mean, even in the way you speak up and you talk. So it's been a good experience for you, hasn't it?
Yes, ma'am. It surely has.
Now, did I hear you say that you're thinking of going into the military as a career?
Yes, ma'am. I sure am.
Now, are you a senior this year?
Yes, ma'am.
What happens after this year?
After this year, I'm going to go ahead and enlist in the military, Navy preferably, and then after that, let my career take off and enjoy life.
You're very impressive, and I'm so glad that you're still here, and I enjoyed talking to you again. Sorry I forgot your name, but I sure didn't forget your face.
All right. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Hello.
Hey.
What's your name?
Keira Carter.
Keira, you're getting ready for inspection, and I've talked to some of the commanding officers and the commanding officer of the whole unit. How do you feel about today? What is it that you expect to happen today? How did you prepare for today?
Well, I feel today will be a good day because most of our unit is here. And to get prepared for today, of course, I had to shine my shoes and get a good night's rest and, just be ready for anything.
Are you nervous?
A little bit.
Now, someone's coming from the University of Virginia and is going to be coming around and asking questions. What kind of questions do you think he's going to be giving you?
Maybe military questions, like about the chain of command that we have or our orders to the century.
It's also going to be looking at the uniform, so I guess you took a little extra time this morning to make sure all your buttons are in the right place.
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you been in ROTC?
For 3 years.
Why did you get involved?
Well, it all started when I came to my middle school, and I thought it was a really cool program to join, so I joined it.
It's very, very impressive. I've done a lot on NJROTC, and you guys always, never fail to impress us.
Yeah, we've been, I guess, trained that way to always be the best at what we do.
And you are. You really are. Now, you are a junior or a senior?
A junior.
Next year is your senior year. What happens after that?
I'm going to college, and then I'm going to enlist in the military.
What branch?
Marines.
Ooh. Tough girl. Tough girl. Thanks for talking to me.
You're welcome.
Commander Hitt, Commander Kaiser is with one of your platoons now. I noticed him even moving one of the cadets' feet to make sure, I guess, that they were standing correctly?
Yes, the correct position of attention is to have the hands down by the sides, thumbnails on trouser seams, and the feet at a 45-degree angle with the heels together. And evidently, one of the cadets had their feet together and not at a 45-degree angle, so he was correcting it.
I knew there was going to be an inspection, but that just seems very targeted.
Well, he's going to be detailed, and the staff platoon that was being inspected, they should know how to stand at attention, and if he was correcting them, then rightly so.
In talking with some of the cadets prior to the inspection, they were telling me, I said, how did you get ready for this? They said they boned up on the uniform, everything on the uniform, on the questions he might ask about the military, about what they've been doing, about leadership. Does that cover basically the things he's going to be looking at, or can he throw anything in there he wants to?
That basically covers it, although he could just ask them a general question about what they're going to do with their life after graduation. But he could ask them a basic chain of command question. Who's the commander-in-chief, which would be Barack Obama. We have a new Secretary of Defense. He might ask who that person is. He could ask just basically about anything.
I couldn't answer some of those questions. I'm not as a joke, but the new Secretary of Defense, I couldn't answer that question.
Well, we've kind of prepared the kids for that. If I was an inspector coming in, that's who I would ask, because he's the new Secretary of Defense and he's in our chain of command. So we've kind of prepared the kids for that. So hopefully a large percentage of them will get that question right if he asks.
It's good to know that they're learning about their own government.
And that's true. By learning the chain of command and how it functions, you do learn a lot about how government functions. And so it kind of rounds out their high school education.
When he finishes inspection, I think you've got 9 platoons?
We have 5 platoons.
5 platoons, excuse me.
6 if you count the staff platoon, but we really don't count them.
Now, what happens after that? I know we'll pass and review.
Yes. After he does the inspection, we'll give out some ribbon awards to those that looked really good in uniform. And then we'll have a short drill demonstration to kind of show off a little bit what these kids can do. And then we'll have a pass and review at the end to honor the inspecting officer. And after that, we break and we treat him to a luncheon in our cafeteria. And after that is completed, my staff has to give him a formal stand-up briefing on our unit here, a PowerPoint presentation. And then
when you say your staff, that's really the cadets, isn't it?
Yes, that's my upperclassmen cadets. My commanding officer, Thomas Fortney, will be the one actually doing the briefing. And it's a formal event. They've practiced for that. They've trained for that. It's a briefing that they put together. It's a PowerPoint presentation that they have put together. And so they're going to show him in a nutshell what our unit is all about.
When does he tell you you made it or you didn't make it?
Oh, at the end of the day. When it's all over and said and done with, we'll go debrief with the principal, Mr. Jackson, and he'll give us our final report.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Commander Hitt, I spent some time talking with some of the students here today, and I am so impressed. One young man, I couldn't remember his name, but I remembered interviewing him from years past in this. And I interviewed him again and asked him about his experiences in NJROTC, and he told me that it had taught him about leadership. I was so impressed. He didn't even sound like the same student that I talked to some years ago. I mean, the voice was different, very confident, knows what he's going to do in the future, and I think that speaks loudly for what's happening here in your NJROTC unit.
Well, thank you. That's the way we raise them here in the unit, so to speak. They come in as freshmen. They're a little timid, and they do have questions about what they want to do with their life. Hopefully, after 2 or 3 years, and all the paces that we put them through, they have a clear idea of what they want to do with their lives and where they want to take their lives. And they will be more confident in how they present themselves.
Every single one that I talk to, when I ask them what happens in the future, they know what they want to do. One wanted to go into the medical field. Several were going to join the Navy. One young lady was going to join the Marines. I mean, it wasn't, I don't know what I'm going to do. It was, here's what I'm planning on doing. So I think it's very impressive. I think your annual inspection here today is probably going to go, like I said at the beginning, perfect. It does every year. And I want to thank you for everything you do with these young people.
Thank you.
And thanks for letting us be here this week.
Well, thank you for supporting us so well, as you always do.
Thanks. It's because you're good. You're good. I want to say to all of you out there that this is very impressive when you talk to these students. You hear a lot about students these now, and you hear a lot about teenagers. But this is what it's all about. These cadets out here and what they've achieved over the years. I want to thank you for being with us this week, and we hope you'll come back next week and find out what's going on in Danville Public Schools.